Hey, welcome to the podcast Domination Show, where we help you launch, grow, monetize, and dominate the podcasting space. This is a show where we believe that if you can get attention with your podcast, you can influence someone. And if you can influence someone, you can get them to take massive action. And if you can get someone to do that, you, my friend, can dominate. I'm Luis Diaz, your host and founder of Podcast Domination, and I'm your guide. Let's go. Hey, so I know you're probably wondering, why is Luis interrupting his own podcast? Well, guess what? I have a little secret for you. And I'm not going to whisper this entire commercial, but I just wrote a book called How to Get 100,000 Downloads in 100 Days, and I want to give it to you for free. Now, this book is going to be on sale on Amazon probably for about $20 or $30. We'll see. But I want to give it to you for free because you are listening to this episode and this podcast, and I appreciate that very, very dearly. So all you have to do to get a free book, a free copy of my book, a physical book if you're in the US, and if you're in the outside of the US, then I will give you a free Audible book version and a free Kindle or ebook version as well. Okay, so here are the steps. Ready? All you have to do is leave a review in the iTunes store for the podcast. If you think it's worthy of 5 stars, I really appreciate it, but I value honest feedback. So leave a review, screenshot it, and tag me on Instagram. My handle is @LuisRyanDiaz, LuisRyanDiaz. Tag me with the book review, and then I'll DM you, or someone from my team will DM you, to ask for your address, and I will send you a copy of my book. Maybe write a little note in there to say thank you, and we'll go from there. So if that sounds good to you, leave a review, and I'll see you on Instagram. Thanks. Now back to the show. Boom. All right, we are back. Podcast Marketing Secrets in Your Car, coming at you today from the second floor of a parking garage. Today, we're going to talk about the 3 ways you can use paid traffic to grow your podcast. I'm going to share with you 3 very simple, different avenues you can use to grow your podcast. So, without further ado, I'm not going to be all funny and fancy today. We're just going to get right into it. To save you some time, I'm going to increase your ad budget. If you want to grow your podcast faster, paid traffic's the way to go. Well, rephrase that. Paid is a way you can go, and I suggest it if you're serious about it. No one else is really doing it, so that's why I'm thinking it's a blue ocean. So a lot of people will start to say, wait, why do I want to put money into a podcast that that I don't see an ROI on, right? Like, so why would I spend money on growing my podcast? Why would you spend money on growing your Instagram or growing your email list? It's the same shit. You can still monetize it. It just depends on what you're selling, how good you are, right? So it's just like any other platform. You can spend money to do it faster, or you can go the organic route, right? So today I'm going to share with you 3 ways on how to do it the paid route. Number 1 is a very, very simple one, and that is to use audio advertising. So audio advertising can be things like using Pandora's ads, which are very, very expensive, using Spotify's ad platform. You can also use Overcast ad platform. 3 ways right there. From a page perspective, you can use audio ads like that, or you can use places like Listen Notes, or I think it's called Radio Republic, or Radio Public, one of those 2. Radio Republic, I want to say it's called. And they all have paid ad places. So you can place paid ads for your show on those platforms that can allow you to grow. I think you can do the same thing with iTunes, but it's very expensive, and they only allow a certain amount of people, and only allow certain types of people. So you have to be like a big influencer or be famous for something like Oprah to advertise on their platform, right? That's why it's better to just get on the top charts and get on the new and noteworthy, and people are always looking there. So that's number 1. Number 2 is to go live. So go out in the streets to use events. So event spaces are really, really good, especially if you have an industry event. Let's just say you are in the e-commerce space and you have an e-commerce podcast. You should try and look into advertising your podcast at an e-commerce event. There's tons of them. Just Google e-commerce events 2019. contact the host, contact the event organizer, or the host, whoever it is. See if you can interview them on your show to talk about their event, and then you pitch them on what the arrangement would be once you've built some rapport, right? Because you can probably get a better price like that instead of cold negotiating this right out the gate. So use live events. There's tons of events going on that are targeted. They're going to bring you basically targeted people, targeted traffic to one location. So you can definitely leverage that and grow your show like that by simply going there as a guest, as a host, as a speaker, going there as a sponsor. Obviously, that's what we're talking about here. Tons of ways you can do that. So that's number 2. Number 3 is to pay other podcasters to promote your show on their email list, on their show notes, on their intro, on their outro. 4 places. Outro is going to be the cheapest. Their intro is going to be the most expensive. Depending on how big their email list is going to vary. But I would say, hey, if you've got a podcast list, or if you have a company, a company that has a podcast email list that's very specific, you can do that. Or if I'm selling, or if I have a podcast about gardening, I'm going to go out to all the gardening blogs, even if they don't have a podcast, and I'm going to advertise on their show or on their email list. So if I'm in the health and fitness space, and maybe someone who has a big similar audience, what's up, Jared? But they don't have a podcast, but I know their audience is interested in what I like, then I would pay money to go to advertise at the footer of their podcast, of their email list, and say, hey, have you checked out this awesome episode by this awesome podcast? I think you would like it. Something like that. You could do that, and you could test it for a month and see how many listeners you get. So tons of ways you can use paid traffic strategies to grow your show. Another way with paying other podcasters, before we got off on that email tangent, was to basically go in and ask for an intro spot like we talked about, or an outro spot. You want to charge or ask for less in the outro because there's less people listening to the end of the show. So you can probably get that for cheaper. Let's just say you have $500 of a budget. You could go around and give 5 of your best podcasters, or 5 of your best competitors or partners, people with similar audiences, pay them each $100 and say, hey, can I advertise on your outro at the end, so at the outro for your next 4 episodes? So collectively, you're getting 20 ad placements for $500. That's not bad. If they're big shows, it's going to help you a lot, A. And then B, they're not selling or monetizing their outro inventory. So you can really capitalize on that and make some good bank because no one else is buying the outros because it's so cheap. So what I would do if I'm a really aggressive advertiser, if I'm aggressive on my growth, this is getting some good shit. This is like consulting here. So I would maybe take a budget, $500 to $1,000, go out to every podcast that's relevant to me. I would buy their outro space, 30 seconds, a 30-second commercial, for as cheap as I could get it for 30 days, and drive all the traffic back to my show. And this would be a way cheaper way than going the intro route or the mid-roll. So you'd be able to get a lot more different podcasts, a lot more people. And I would do this in conjunction with a contest so that they're actually motivated to go and subscribe and give you their email and subscribe to your show, right? So that's how I would do it. Thinking of that, I should probably talk about that in my next book. So that's one way. I'll probably jot that down because I like that idea. Anyways, 3 ways to grow your podcast with paid traffic. Don't be afraid of it. Embrace it. Money loves speed. Attention, and you need attention. So if you want to buy attention faster, use paid traffic on your podcast. Hey, what's up? Lewis again, and I get asked this question a lot, so I wanted to answer it here for you in a unique manner. And that question is, Lewis, what exactly do you do? How do you help podcasters? What exactly do you and what does Podcast Domination really help with? Well, instead of me sitting here and telling you all the amazing stuff about us, I thought it'd be fun and interesting for you guys to hear what our clients are saying. So here you go. Please enjoy.
Lewis literally makes my life so much easier. All I have to do is record my content. I don't have to worry about editing it. I don't have to worry about writing show notes. I don't have to create any of my graphics to promote it. He literally does everything for me.
We hired Lewis to kind of help us set up podcasts, for us to put our content out and kind of grow our brand. And all I really have to say, it's been a huge success. It's been really easy. Lewis and his whole team have made the whole process easy, from setting it up originally, which with podcasts is kind of intimidating, and there's a lot of things that if you don't know a lot about the platform, that it's very time consuming. So Lewis made all of that easy.
In the beginning, I'm not going to lie, I was completely overwhelmed, confused, stressed out, because I went on YouTube trying to figure out how to set up a successful podcast. And actually going on YouTube, I was just bombarded by so much information that I just wanted to give up on the idea. And then I met a good friend of ours that introduced me to Lewis, and we hit it off. And he just said to me, it's really, really simple. I will take care of everything for you. I think what Lewis has done for me has made it seem so painless. He has took my idea and saved me money, he saved me time and energy, and more importantly, he's made my Persistence Factor podcast sound professional.
Well, I hope you enjoyed those sound bites as much as I enjoyed putting them together. If you have any questions about how we can help you grow, launch, or further your podcasting efforts, feel free to reach out to me at Lewis@Podcast Domination, or you can reach out to my team and ask them some questions. hello@podcastdomination.co. Both are .co. Just make sure that's, keep that in mind. Anyways, I'll see you on the next episode. And until next time, keep dominating.